is not taped. It's not Memorex. Do you remember that commercial
Right? Yeah.
back in the 70s or 80s? We're
Is it
live.
live or is it Memorex?
Yeah, is it live or Memorex? We're live.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess now we know we need to wait till the exact time to hit that button. I thought I had hit it.
Oh, well, no, it's actually live now. I see here. Okay, so we're actually live with people.
Okay.
Yep.
Says 34 seconds, 35 seconds.
Okay, maybe the time delay here.
Very cool. It might be a thing. Well, I see one person watching.
Okay, all right. I don't know if we can identify who they are.
No, not until they
Comment.
comment. So
Okay.
whoever's that's watching, go ahead and let us know who you are and where you're from. And we're anxious to correspond with everybody tonight. If answer questions, if you have questions and that kind of thing. So all one of you, go ahead and comment. So,
all right. Well, we'll give our folks maybe a minute here, and then we'll get started with introducing ourselves.
Yep.
Looks like it's really starting to get dark where you're at there. And
yeah, it's a good thing I got this light, huh?
Mm-hmm. For sure. Oh, finally, Home and Bama's on with us. Hi, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
All right.
Oh, another person. Hey, so whoever just joined in there, go ahead and comment so we know who you are and where you're from.
Yeah,
Or
identify yourself.
if we know who you are, we probably already know where you're from. If we know you.
All right. Well,
we've got a couple people here on right now, so we're gonna get maybe until a few more get on there until we actually.
Yeah, we'll give it another minute or two, then we'll get started with our program. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your temperature right now where you're at?
Let me check. 50 degrees inside here.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, it's supposed to get down to like 30 degrees tonight. So after I'm done here, I got to go put some plants back in the house.
Oh, okay.
I think these out here are going to be fine because it won't get 30 degrees in here. It'll probably get down to like maybe 34 in here.
Okay.
So it'll be all right in here. The only thing I got that would be get hurt is the moringas and the tomato plants.
Okay.
So
all right. Well, looks like we've got two people with us.
Yeah, two people.
Deb's with us. Yep.
Home in Bama. More inside. Oh yeah. Yeah, more inside. She's talking about more plants inside. Yep, I got to take those back in. Take those back in the house. Get them back up get it in where it's warm.
Yeah.
Cold tonight. A couple nights, and then next week you got 2 nights that it's going to be down to like 30.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now
so
where you're at? You're in Alabama. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I'll bring him. And who we got? Red Maple. Hey, Red, how you doing, man? Hey, good to see you. So, but yeah, I was just telling Matt it's gonna freeze tonight here where we're at, so I got to take some plants back in the house that I've had sitting out on the patio. So,
okay, so we know what you'll be doing after we finish our live stream here.
Exactly.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and get started.
Yeah, let's get started. I think we've got
anybody that I should have said for people to jump ahead to the past this first couple minutes, but it is what it is. But anyhow,
yeah, let's go ahead and get started. I'll start since I'm hosting. I'll introduce myself, Rob, and then I'll have you introduce yourself, and then we'll get into our topic of discussion tonight. Okay.
Right. Yep. Sounds good.
All right. So for those that may not know me, I'm Matt Hall. I'm with Hall Family Farms here in South Central Virginia. I'm in agricultural growing zone 7B. So I'm just kind of new. I'm still learning in this world of gardening and plant propagation and farming and all of those things. And so I met Rob actually through another person's YouTube channel. He asked a question and I happened to catch his last name, and just so happens my mother's maiden name is Cutlip, and so I just kind of asked him, hey, where are you from? And did a little research, and we're actually really related. We actually used YouTube to find each other. I think we're double related, so through our fathers and mothers, we're like sixth or seventh cousins. So anyway, that's me, and that's what I about here. I have a YouTube channel, Hall Family Farms, also on Instagram and Facebook. So, Rob, you want to take it over and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Rob from Brown Thumb Nursery here in northern Alabama, actually the town of Southside, Alabama, which they should have Southside down southern Alabama, but it's northern Alabama. But anyhow, we moved down here a few years ago to be with my wife's parents and just loving it down here. So we've got a couple YouTube channels, my wife and I, and Brown Thumb Nursery being one of them. So here we are. I'm out here in my greenhouse, and we're going to talk a little bit about some plant propagation. And so if you have any questions about plant propagation or something, you want to know about it, or just something that, whatever, any kind of question, just throw it up in there, and we're going to try to watch for those and answer those questions.
Oh, okay. Looks like Red Maple saying he just planted some pole beans. That's
nice.
awesome.
I hope. Well, hopefully they stay warm underneath the ground for a few nights.
Yeah, you might want to put some sort of blanket or something over top
Yeah,
of
no,
them.
they should be fine if you just planted them. But next week you might watch that weather. If once they pop up, they'll need a little bit of.
Is he a little bit north of where you're located? Is that my understanding?
I can't remember. Hey, Red, are you north or west, or what are you compared to us? I can't remember. He's been here. Him and his wife Rachel have been over here, and
yep, I saw a video.
Yeah, had awesome visit with them. But anyhow, I think he's fairly similar to our zone. And we're, by the way, I didn't mention we're in zone 7B here, which is the same as what you are, Matt. And that's kind of funny to me because it seems like you get more cold than we do, and your last frost date is later than ours. Ours is March 27th, and yours is what, April 15th or something? Yeah. So the growing zone doesn't necessarily say your last frost date, which is an interesting thing. So,
okay.
Oh yeah, Deb says let's do it again. It's a Red Maple. We had a good time. In fact, they invited us to go over there, so we will take them up on that one of these days. So.
Okay, awesome. So tonight we, in preparation for our live stream, this is our second time doing this. Rob hosted our first live stream, and we were using that kind of to test out the system here that YouTube has rolled out in a beta stage with live stream together, and so we've been testing it out. And so tonight we wanted to talk about plant propagation, and we're really fortunate that we have Rob here with us because he's been doing plant propagation for quite a while, and has got really a vast knowledge when it comes to how to multiply your plants. And if you saw my little short video that I did a little bit earlier to promote our program tonight, one of the stories that I shared about, if you have a grandmother maybe that recently passed away, and you wanted something from the farm place or wherever your grandmother lived, to how do you get that, right, if the house has been sold? Well, that actually kind of I brought that story up because it was kind of reminiscent of what I went through a couple years ago when my father passed away. My brother and I were going through things, and obviously, to prepare for selling my parents' home in West Virginia. And so I really wanted to take some cuttings from a Rose of Sharon that I kind of helped my dad plant back when we first built the house. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
That's going back to probably 1981, 82 when we did that together.
Wow.
And so I didn't want to it was a special moment, because I was a teenager when we did that. So, fortunately, because of meeting Rob and so forth, and learning about how to propagate plants, while I was there, I took one of those little ice chests with a cold pack in it and some wet paper towels, and took my pruning hand pruners and took a bunch of cuttings from that and brought it back, and successfully, thanks to Rob's great teaching, was
Well,
able to
and a
was
bunch of
able
others out there on YouTube, of course.
yeah, I was able to successfully do that, and I've got multiple trees now here on my property. So anyway, so this is an opportunity for you all if you haven't had any experience with learning how to propagate plants, or if you have plants, like I said, maybe that are on your property that you really love, but you just maybe don't have the money to do it, right? Because plants are expensive now, and with inflation and everything. So that's why we came up with the idea to do this for you tonight. And so you're going to learn from what I call one of the masters in plant propagation. So, Rob, I'm going to go ahead and get you started here by asking you a few questions, if that's all right with you.
Yep.
So,
Hold on, before you do, I saw your comment, Red, about getting together for a cookout. So yes, definitely, we're gonna do that.
okay,
So,
all right,
yeah,
very good.
go ahead, Matt. What you got
Okay,
there? All
yeah,
right.
all right.
Yeah.
Okay. I see where Deb's commenting about the thermostat being turned
Yeah.
off. Okay. Yeah. So let's jump into our topic here for those that are with us. So we're talking about plant propagation. Obviously, there are many different ways to do it. We're going to focus on a couple of different things, and I'm going to let you kind of delve into it. I think most people know that you can propagate plants or multiply plants by planting seeds, and it sounds like Red's already or Sean's already done that with his pole beans.
Right. Yeah.
So let's talk about other ways to propagate. I know you did a video not long ago about multiplying hosta plants. How did you go about doing that?
Well, hostas, yeah. I mean, that
Yeah.
was actually over a year ago, I think. And so I just actually had a clump of them that were given to us, and I actually it was funny because I just thought, well, plant them over this way somewhere. But for now, tonight, since it's getting dark, I'll just set them over here, and then kind of, you know, out of sight, out of mind. I forgot about them. They just kind of rooted in this spot right where they were. So
Okay.
later on, quite a while later, I went ahead and just grabbed a clump of them and brought them over here and did a video of how to separate them and stuff. So basically, you can just like you take a knife or something and separate them, and you can separate them in like clumps of decent sized clumps, or you can separate them all the way down to just one plant, and you can kind of tell. And you'd have to, I don't want to go all the way into that, but you can watch that video,
Yeah.
on my channel and watch that whole process. It's pretty easy and kind of hard to mess it up.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe that's for a future episode. When it
Sure.
gets time to do that, we can maybe do an episode where you can
Mm-hmm.
show us how you divide maybe hostas and other plants that are
Sure.
really more suitable for that. But let's jump
Right.
into to what you've got going on tonight. I know I'm really looking forward to seeing your live demonstration and learning more from you. So explain to us what are you going to be propagating for
Well,
us?
I went and just before we started here, I went outside and grabbed some azalea cuttings. I just, we have an azalea that it's actually starting to leaf out and has kind of these long shoots. So I cut some of them off to be able to do those, and then I got some elderberries sitting over there. But we'll talk about the azaleas first. So so now a couple years, well, probably what half a dozen years ago or something, I really didn't know honestly that you could stick a stick in the ground and get it to grow. I mean, this is pretty new to me, honestly. I mean, I've learned a lot in the last half a dozen years. I still got a lot to learn, so I don't consider myself to be the all knowing or anything. But so what we do? Oh, first of all, let me tell you a couple things that you want to make sure that you have with doing cuttings. Now, there's first of all there's hardwood cuttings and softwood cuttings, and well, maybe in semi-soft cuttings too. I guess you could categorize something. But so for hardwood cuttings, it's not as critical as far as the humidity, but with softwood cuttings, humidity is a big issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you want to have high humidity, like anywhere from 85 to 100% humidity. And so I have a propagation frame that's actually over there up against my garage. And so, but I'm not going to do it that way today, as I'm going to do it basically how anybody could do it, just a homeowner that would just like to propagate some plants. And so let's get into that and with these azaleas. So what I've got is a it's a tray here that's kind of got a deep thing there, and I think there's like, I don't know, maybe 50 cells in there or something like that. And But they're 3 inches deep. What I actually meant to order or tried to order was something deeper, which like a 5-inch one. These are an actual plug tray that a big nursery would have, and I didn't. I got these, and these are going to be fine. So, but anyhow, let me set this one aside.
Okay, so Rob, while you're getting ready to do the next step, let me ask you, for those that maybe don't have access to those kind of trays, is it necessary to
No, you
have
could use
those?
something like that.
Okay.
Just anything really, honestly. In fact, I'll show you here after a bit some limelight hydrangeas that I did in another kind of container. So we'll hold off. I won't try to explain it now. I'll just show you here after a bit. So what I'm
Awesome.
going to do is go ahead and fill this tray up with potting soil. And I normally don't use potting soil if it's in my propagation frame, because it's not inert. It has life in it, and things that can turn to fungus and things like that. So, but this is going to be out in the air, open air, and it'll be fine. It's not going to get fungusy and all that stuff.
Okay.
These will probably spend most of their life actually outside underneath the shade tree over here that I have. So I'm just going to kind of fill them up with some of that and get them ready. And
All right. So while you're doing that, I noticed it looks like you got a pretty neat potting bench there. Can you describe
oh yeah, it's just metal
that?
racks that allows, if I get too much and I need to swish it over, it goes right back. And it'll actually, this is not a really good example, but when I'm doing, like, for instance, if I'm doing potting up plants and I miss, it just goes right back underneath into my tub there. So that's
Oh wow,
been
that
kind of
that's
it's been really nice, actually. It was kind of an accident that it turned out so wonderful.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can see the benefits of that. One
yeah.
of the problems I have is I wind up losing. You get a bag of soil or whatever, and you try to fill up a tray like that. You usually wind up losing a good portion of it on the ground.
I know, and I watch people on YouTube videos. I see them doing that, and they're losing a bunch of their high dollar soil, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So,
Yeah. Hey, Rob, I know you can't see the comments. Sean over at Red Maple said that's genius.
well, thanks, Sean. Yeah, I think you probably seen it in person, didn't you?
Yeah, that looks pretty neat.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
pretty
slick,
awesome.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, there's a big old chunk that's going to be kind of in the way. I'll toss that out.
Okay.
Uh, so yeah, just kind of. I had to put my jacket on, man. It got chilly out here. It's like 50. It's like 48 degrees in here now, and I don't
So
have a
that
heater.
kind of breaks the myth that greenhouses are warm inside, huh?
Well, this isn't technically a greenhouse. So honestly, this is, what people would call like a hoop house or something like that.
Okay.
But it's not heated. It's not really heatable. Honestly, you would have to spend a lot of money to heat something with as many air gaps as this has.
Okay. So that leads me to another question, Rob. So for somebody looking to get into multiplying their plants through cuttings like you're showing us tonight, is it necessary to have a greenhouse to be able to do that,
Oh no, I mean, well,
or a hoop house?
I actually don't even use a the greenhouse for cuttings. Usually I have my propagation frame, which is really pretty awesome. Maybe we'll do a video one of these days, like a live about that. But for
Okay.
now, so what you need is some elements. One thing I already mentioned is humidity. You want high humidity, especially for softwood cuttings, which let me just show you what the difference between a softwood cutting and a hardwood be. So you can see this green portion here, up here where it's green, and then this down here is kind of harder and it's brown. This down here would be considered a hardwood cutting, and this here would be the softwood cuttings. But this time of year, this is actually kind of a transition time. Honestly, this I'm like about a month too late for growing uh, hardwood cuttings, and maybe a month early for doing softwood cuttings. I mean, I'm talking your best times. Now, this is going to work on the hardwood and softwood. It's going to work,
Uh-huh.
but I'm saying your goal time would be for hardwood cuttings. You generally want to take those, and at least around here, you'd want to take them like in January, February would be a good time. You don't want to do it in December because, man, there just hasn't been quite enough cold to let them go completely dormant. I've lost quite a few cuttings because of taking them in like December. Um,
Okay.
we might have had a freeze or two, small freeze, but they weren't dormant enough, and they didn't make it. They started to actually sprout out in that December a little bit in above ground, but they didn't have enough time to go really dormant. So, in my experience, I know there's other people and they probably have different experiences, but I like to wait at least until January, and then February is good. And then this is what into the second week of March or something like that.
Right.
So this is okay, but I've got quite a bit of foliage coming out, and let me show you on the elderberry. So you've got elderberry over here too, and this is really leafed out way more than I wish it would.
Okay.
Now elderberry, um, I would rather um, take cuttings of it and the same January, February. But if I wanted to take softwood cuttings, I'd let it shoot up, nice new growth, and it shoots up really quick. Lots of growth on it. So I would let it go until like June ish, and then take nice, firm, even semi softwood, you might call it, cuttings of those new shoots, and then that's what I have wonderful success with is softwood cuttings.
Okay.
But I mean, I have good success with both, but I have to say, you just don't want to do it in December. So,
Okay. So
I mean,
December is
or
a
no,
no
no,
go.
November, December, you don't want to do it. So,
November, December are out. Okay.
yeah, I
All
mean,
right.
unless I don't know, maybe I haven't done a lot of it, but maybe if you want to do it like inside, but I don't like doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I prefer doing it outside in the weather.
All right. Well, that leads me to another question that maybe our viewers might be asking or thinking about. So, is it is it imperative to purchase a rooting hormone to get the cuttings to develop and form roots? Is there a a pro and a con to that? I know
Yeah, I
it can
mean,
be kind of expensive. I know I purchased some Hormidin 3.
right.
I think this ran me about maybe $34, maybe.
Yep. Yeah,
Um,
it might be closer to 440 now.
40. Yeah, it might be closer to 40 now. You're right. So, but is it imperative?
Oh
Do
yeah,
you
hey, Red Maple just made a good comment. He said, "Don't take cuttings from things that are actively flowering," and
Oh, yeah.
that's kind of why I said to wait till June, because most of the things that are going to flower out, they're going to be done flowering and then go into a growth mode, and have made some good growth. So good call there, Red.
Yeah, that's an
So,
excellent point. Yeah.
yeah, but so the answer about the hormone is hormone's great, and I use it every once in a while, but you don't have to have hormone. You have a better chance with success if you use some rooting hormone. And I also use the Hormone 3. There's liquid hormones that you can get that you like have to mix with water, I think, or something. I've never used
Yeah, I
those.
think I think one of them's called Dip and Grow. I've heard.
Yeah, dip and grow, and I've heard good comments about all that. It
Yeah.
seems like a lot of extra work and time, and that's kind of the issue with me. Most of the time, I just barely have time to do it, and getting out hormone and all the other stuff is there's more time, and you got to be careful not to dump your thing because you don't want to dump $35 worth of powder all over the
Right.
area. And so, but there is times when I really do make sure I use it, and that is when I've purchased cuttings.
Okay.
Because I want to make sure they grow. It'd be
Right.
like figs, for example. Now, a lot of people say, "Oh, figs don't even need hormone," and they're probably right. But man, if I paid for that, I'm going to go the extra mile, and so that's
Yeah.
kind of my philosophy. And or
Okay.
if I have extra time, sure, I'll get it out and use it. It's worth doing. I would have to say, yeah, it's worth doing,
Okay.
but you don't have to have it.
Are
So
there certain plants or shrubs that are more easy to root than others?
right, yeah, and I don't know the answer to which one completely. And like for instance, I know that these azaleas root really easy, and that's
Okay.
without hormone. And elderberry, you can almost put it like close to the ground, and it'll reach out and put roots down. They're so easy to
Oh,
do.
wow.
Yeah, so I mean things like that, you're just kind of wasting hormone if you're putting it on things that root so good, and or if they're very readily available. I could take thousands. I could have taken 1,000 cuttings off of just this shrub today.
Wow.
And
Okay.
I've got dozen probably on the property. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of if half of these don't grow, the extra time and whatever isn't worth it to me.
Yeah. I saw where Deb just made a comment. She loves elderberry.
All right, yeah. So elderberry
Yeah.
has all kinds of benefits, and most homesteaders already know all the or a lot of those benefits. And actually, she's got a video on Finally Home in Bama channel talking about some of the benefits. So
Oh,
if you're
that's good.
yeah, if you're interested in learning some of that, go check that video out. That'd be awesome.
Okay.
So
Good.
that's our other YouTube channel, by the way. If you're watching this and did not know that, so
Okay.
I'm going to start here by taking a cutting and showing you
Uh,
where. Well, let me show
all
you the.
all right. I got a comment here. So
Okay.
Red Maple says that he's used the Dip and Grow.
Oh, okay.
So
I'd love to hear that how that
yeah,
does for you sometime, Red. We'll have to chat about that and maybe have you come on and show us how to do that one of these
yeah,
days.
yeah. I've never had any experience with Dip and Grow, but I've
Yeah,
seen people use
I've seen people use it, and I know it's
it. Mhm.
probably more. Okay, so what I do know is that like Dip and Grow is a more powerful hormone than Hormone 3. They use that for things, hardwood cuttings that are difficult to propagate. So
Yeah, I'm
that's
sure.
all about all I know about that because I've never
Yeah, I'm
used it
sure it probably absorbs the hormone easier since it's a liquid form.
properly. So yeah,
The benefit to the powder, from what I understand, is that there are some antibacterial benefits
right,
to
yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the big things because a lot of times you lose your cuttings to bacteria, mold, fungus, and that kind of thing.
Mhm.
So that's one of the good things. That's why I mentioned that this being not being an inert material is an issue because if I was going to leave that in a high humidity area, like in my propagation area where it stays like 85 to 100 degrees, or not degrees, but percent humidity, this would mold and grow fungus. And
Okay.
that's not a good thing. But this is going to be out in the air and open, and I will have to water them. So that's the difference about that, or one of the differences.
Right, right, right.
So
Okay. Well, you wanna go ahead and, show us and explain how you go about taking the cutting?
right, yeah. So I'm going to show you up here where you can see the nodes better. It's kind of
Okay.
this particular one's kind of hard to see the nodes when it gets down, but you can see each one of these places where like a leaf pops out. That is what they call a node, and leaf node or a branch node or whatever, or a flower node, whatever happens to come out of there. But you can see those nodes, and they as you get down closer to the bottom, they're a little bit more difficult to see on this particular branch. So you can almost have to feel for them. Like for
Mhm.
instance, I can see that feel that there's one right there. So let me show you what I do. Right there, right there below that node, I'm going to cut that at a 47-degree angle, and that's going to be my bottom. Now, a lot of people will scrape the cambium layer just a little bit, just to um, expose some of that green down in there. That kind of gives it a extra little boost of like wanting to repair itself. So it goes and does something. I don't know what it does, but so then
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So, but a lot of people do that, and I do it sometimes too. And I actually, because a lot of times I don't, but when I think about it, I generally do. So then what I do is go up a little ways. On these, I'll go up 4 or 5, 6 inches or something like that. There'll be several nodes up through that area, and I'll go right underneath a node up there and cut that. And then
Okay.
so that I'm right below the next node, so that's going to be at the bottom of my next cutting. So um, that so the from here to here, there's no nodes, and that's where I usually try to grab a hold of in case there's like tender buds starting to pop out. You don't want to knock those off too much because that would be your next branch, and so you
Right.
try to be careful. I usually call that my handle up there, and then I just take and stick it down in the soil there, and
Okay.
yeah, and so and I just go. I usually a lot of times I'll do a bunch of these at a time. I'm just going to do a few real quick. So now when I get to the top part, this is where it's softwood cutting, and now these are all going to grow. But what I'll do, you can almost see in there. There's flowers about to bloom. Maybe that's more. I can't really tell for sure, but I don't want any of that for sure inside. I'm going to pick out all of that on the inside and several of
Okay.
these. Now, in fact, several of these leaves. Here, we'll leave two of them, but we'll pick out the what possibly could be a flower because this bush actually had a couple blooms on it. So do
Okay.
that, and then that's a decent cutting right there. Now, a lot of people will take and cut some of them leaves back a little bit just to keep from them getting dehydrated, and so that's a good practice to do right there.
Okay. It probably helps also with uh, space, I'm guessing, so that you
Right,
have
absolutely.
more room.
Sure does. Yep.
Okay.
So just gonna go boom like that. Trim it back. Trim it back. Oh, you can't see. Oh, you can see that brown there in that top there.
Yeah.
That's where that 6 degrees temperature for 2 nights in a row kind of messed with us. So
Mm.
so I'm gonna leave. See those that are budding out there. I'm gonna leave those. Take that, and then that's all. That's all we'll have. And that'll be a nice little cutting there.
Okay. Now, Rob, how long can we expect with these azalea cuttings? How long can we expect it'll take for them to develop roots?
Um,
And what should you look for, I guess, to know that you're on the road to success?
well, if they turn black, you know, I mean, that's really. I mean, from
That's it,
above
right?
ground, that's about what you can tell is if they turn black, they're not. And so after about 6 weeks, you should start getting some roots down under there. But you're not going to know that for sure unless you start seeing roots pop out underneath. And um,
Okay. Hey,
so,
we have a new person that's joined us here. Baked baked with Miss Red.
oh, that's Rachel.
Okay, she says
That's
hi. Hey there, glad to catch you all this time. So,
yeah,
hey Rachel, nice to see you.
yeah. She's got her own channel. You guys baked with
I'll
Miss
have to look
Red.
her up and
Yeah,
subscribe.
click
I'm
click
already
on her.
subscribed to Sean.
Yeah,
So
those people that. In fact, by the way, Matt's the one that told me about Red Maple Grove. He's over there in Virginia, but he happened to be scrolling through and saw Red Maple on there and said, "Hey, Rob, I think this guy is close to you." And so I
yeah,
I went and
sure
subscribed, and so
did.
so yeah, it was actually Matt that told me about you there, Red.
Yep.
So,
All right, let's see. I think we got another comment here. So Red Maple Grove says its wounds its wounds, the leaf, and if it will callus like a scab, sealing the moisture in. So I guess what he's saying there is that's something we should look for, I guess, to know we're on the right path. Is that right?
Read that again. I didn't.
Yeah. So I think what he was saying there is, I think he's saying that a good sign that we're on the right path to success with our cuttings is if you start to see the wounds from where you've cut them, if you start to see them scab over like and
Right,
develop
you'd have
a
to pull them
callus.
out. Yeah, you'd have to pull them out to do that. Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I
But
think he's also probably referring to the top too. I guess the top, when you stop seeing, the little teardrops of sap coming out of the tops where you've cut them.
oh,
Maybe that's what he's talking about too, to
yeah, I'm
look
not
for.
sure. Not sure about that.
Okay. All right.
But
So,
yeah, if they turn black, they're bad. Just get them out of there because they're
so
gonna cause fungus and mold. So just get them out of your way and out of the propagation area.
okay.
And I'm just
Now,
doing this
should
because might as
should
well,
a
right?
person should a person who's attempting to do this maybe for the first time, should they be frustrated or give up if that happens to them? I mean, does that happen frequently?
They turn black.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's common. It's not a rare occurrence. It's
and
pretty
there's
common.
your good uh, reason to use hormone if you want, because you have a better chance of them not turning black if you use hormone. If you
Okay.
do, if you do everything else correctly, though, you're going to have pretty good percentage, success on them.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is, for somebody new, there is a little trial and error in trying to figure out what you might need to use rooting hormone for. So
I know there was for me. We'll just say that.
okay,
I mean, I
so
would say, I say go for it. But if you're to the point where you got something you want to propagate and you can't get to the store, get it in the ground. I mean, I do most. I would say probably 80% of my stuff without hormone.
okay,
That's just a guess. I don't really know. I don't really keep track.
right, right,
I just know when I go on Figbid and order fig cuttings or something, I get the hormone out for that because them things are not cheap.
okay, all right.
Yeah. So
So I guess that old adage, if at first you don't succeed, try again, right?
yeah,
That
absolutely.
that that applies to the nursery business, I'm guessing.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, now I know you're doing the azalea cuttings now, and I know you showed us an elderberry
Yeah.
uh, branch. So, do you treat those differently from the azalea cuttings?
Slightly, and you'll kind of have to see. I mean, as far as they're a little bit different, um, how they how they go, how they look, and we'll just have to kind of see them. You want me to get this out of the way and bring those over?
Sure, if you want to.
Well, I can. Yeah. I mean, we're already a half hour into it, and we don't want to take everybody's whole night. Let me find a way to set this out of the way. Ooh, I should have put this in a tray. Let me grab a tray.
Okay, yeah, sure, sure.
Uh-oh. Where my trays are at. Go ahead and talk while I'm looking.
Okay, all right. Um, yeah, and for those that are with us, please feel free to type in your comments or questions or tips that you would like to share with us because we're learning. That old saying, you learn until you die. That's so true. So um, part of the reason why Rob and I decided to get together on this little project of oh nice, look at
Yeah, so
that.
I got a little over a half a tray done, so I'll finish that up here after a bit after the thing.
Yeah, that didn't take long. Now,
Yeah.
listen, another question I have for you. So, after you take those cuttings from the azalea plant or the elderberry, um, and obviously it's taking you about 20 minutes or so, maybe, well, with talking and everything. Probably slowed you up a little bit. But so what do you do with them while you're waiting?
Well, if it's hot and everything, I would want to have them sitting in a little bucket of water. In fact, when I took the cuttings before we started live, I took the cuttings and stuck them down in a bucket of water just to keep them hydrated. So
I gotcha.
yeah, you want to keep them hydrated, and it's more important when it's hot out, and if you're going to be quite a while. Thought I saw my breath. Thought I saw my breath there for a second.
Yeah, I think I just did see it actually. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so just while he's doing that, so about I guess it's been about a month, maybe a month and a half ago, we started kind of batting the idea around of maybe doing a live stream together. We because we found out we're related and we both like gardening and this kind of thing with propagation. We talk probably nightly, don't you think, Rob?
It seems like lately, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so we started batting around the idea of maybe doing a live stream and trying to build a community of people who have kind of the same interest, kind of a like-mindedness that we
Right.
have, and that way we can kind of bounce each other's ideas off of each other and build a network here. So that's kind of what the purpose was in kind of getting our two heads together to come up with this format. So we're gonna do it. I think starting off, I think we're gonna maybe try to do it maybe once a week or once every other week, maybe on a Monday. That
Yeah.
seems pretty well so far.
Yeah. So we'll see how the schedule goes and adjust from there. Nothing's
Yeah.
set in concrete yet.
If you have topics that you would like for us to discuss or uh, to be a part of, let us know. In the comments below. We'd love
Right.
to be able to touch upon things that maybe you might be interested in talking about, because that's what Rob actually came up with the name for our little live stream broadcast here called Plant Chat. So that's really what our goal was to give the two of us, but also the people who we've become friends with in this little community, to give us all an opportunity to kind of come together and share ideas and things like that. So yeah, if you have an idea, if you have a topic you'd like for us to cover, that would be
Right.
awesome.
And so we're believing that we're going to be able to get this to be posted, not just live, but to where people can watch it afterwards. So if you're watching this afterwards, after it's not live anymore, post comments and we'll get on those. And if you have ideas for different shows that you want to see, go ahead and leave those comments. That would be awesome.
Yeah, one of the things we did discover from our first live stream session just a couple of days ago when we did that, Rob hosted it. We finally figured out how to post it, and we both discovered that the comments that we received during the live stream, they kind of disappear
Yeah,
when
they won't show up after we post
they
it.
won't show up. So if
Yeah.
you're watching this after the fact, after Friday the 13th of March,
Is it Friday the 13th?
yeah, not Friday, Monday. What am I
Oh,
saying? It's
okay.
Monday.
Yeah, I didn't even know what day it was.
Monday.
All right.
I guess I was thinking of the movie, right?
All right.
Friday
Okay.
the series, Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Anyway, so if you're watching this post live stream, just know that you're not going to see the comments from the live
Not
stream.
from the live, but make new comments because
Yeah,
those
but
will
yeah,
all, yeah,
absolutely. We'd
absolutely.
love to
So
hear from you and hope that maybe you'll join us for the next live stream that we do. Rob will be hosting the next live stream. So yeah, give us our feedback. We love that. So
absolutely.
yeah. So Rob, you want to move on to the elderberry?
Yep. So we got elderberry over here, and you can see that it looks different. It's a different kind of plant, and it's got. I took, quite a few cuttings here. I probably got enough for 2 trays, honestly. But so you can see it's actually got a branch coming off of the branch, and just for the sake of ease of doing what I do, I'll cut that off and work with that, and use it first. And I'm probably just going to let that be a cutting all of its own. So what I'll do is, you can see that node there very easily because it's already got stuff growing. I'll do my 47-degree cut right there. I break that off there. I don't want that to. And there's another thing about the bud out on that side. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, I can
But
see that.
those buds, I want to take those off. And you can do that, like I was telling you before, where you can scrape them. You can do that same thing with your thumbnail. See how easy that is to get down to the cambium layer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in fact, I'm going to go ahead and take those buds off of this next node as well, both sides of there. And then there's a bunch of green stuff up there. And just for the sake of speed, I'm just going to clip a bunch of that back.
Okay.
And let it go like that. And that way it won't pull the moisture out of that, because there's
Yeah.
less. In fact, I'm going to take a little bit more off.
Oh, wow. The first time I saw you do that, Rob, on one of your videos, and I went out to try to do it, that was a little frightening, actually, I have to say. I thought for sure it would not live cutting the leaves like that.
Oh yeah, no, it does. And yeah. So
hey, I just noticed, just so you'll know, because I know you're busy showing us how to do this. I believe your sister Paula just signed in. Apparently,
cool. Hi, Paula.
apparently she's at work, but she's on break and wanted to stop in and visit us. So,
well, you're lucky, Paula.
hey, Paula.
I think you might have just heard me say that we are going to be able to post it so you can watch it later. So that's awesome.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
For
So
sure. Yeah.
So with elderberry cuttings, I usually make them a little bit bigger so you can see how far apart the nodes are. That's how far apart they are there and
Oh,
then
wow.
there. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to cut this one up here and then leave that. I'll set this aside to work with in a minute. And then this is what I have for cutting. So with these short little trays that I have, it's only going to go about that deep. So only one node's going to go deep, but that's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and cut back most of that green stuff there. Just get it, and I'm going to cut that because that looks kind of dead. I'm just going to cut that back there, and that's my cutting.
Okay. It looks like Deb with Finally Home in Bama just made a comment that the chickens love this stuff. So I
Oh
guess
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess you're
Elderberry
recycling, huh?
is awesome, and
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a like a superfood thing. So you can see me cutting those
Okay.
bottom ones off there. And you know what? I think I'm just gonna do this node here that's gonna go underneath the ground. Cut that at the 47-degree angle, and these here, I'm just gonna clip a lot of that off.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna go up to this node and let that be my cutting. So I got one node that's gonna be under, and then one node above ground, and then my handle up here.
Okay. Now another question I have. I don't know if anyone else out there. Please ask questions if you have them for Rob.
Right? Yeah.
One of the questions that I noticed as you were doing the azalea cuttings and now you're doing elderberry, that the elderberry cuttings seem to be a lot longer than the azalea cuttings. Is there a magic uh, length that you look at for certain plants, or are they different depending on the type of plant?
Well, there's not. I mean, wouldn't call it a magic number, but as far as it's kind of a guideline. Like this here, I think for elderberry, I've heard people say go 8-10 inches or whatever as a
Oh,
kind of a guideline. Um, and that seems to be about what I'm doing. I mean, that's about 8 inches right there, and
yeah.
that's a good size there. I'm clipping some of them. Now, normally, like I said earlier, I should have done these a month ago, and they wouldn't have any leaves on them at all. So, um, just as so you know.
Okay. Yeah. So it's better to do it before they break
Before
down.
they wake up, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. And so I guess one of the advantages here with the elderberry being a little bit longer is that you're going to have a more advanced little tree, it looks like, or
Yeah.
a shrub,
Yeah.
right?
And these things take off and go crazy. I mean,
Oh, wow.
they
Now,
really
I'm
good.
not familiar with elderberry, so you might need to educate me. And if I come across as being out of the know here. So the name elderberry, does it produce berries?
Yeah. So
are they edible?
They're medicinal. I
They're
would say.
medicinal. Okay.
I mean, I don't know that you would eat them. I actually don't know that, honestly,
Okay.
but I know as far as medicinal, they are very medicinal. The flowers are medicinal, and
Oh,
you can make tinctures or different kind of things out of the
okay.
flowers and the
Paula,
berries and the
Paula just
leaves.
okay. Paula just commented. She said they're very good for you.
Right, absolutely. They're like a yeah, medicine, really.
I've never grown it. I may have to get some then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you and Deb planning to do a video on how to prepare it so you can use it for
Yeah, in
helping
fact,
your
I think
health?
Deb might have already done one
Oh, okay.
on the Finally Home in Bama. Deb, you might shout out in there if you have done one. I think you did the elderberry leaves, so you can use the flowers, you can use the berries, and you can use the leaves, and all of them are uh, excellent medicinal. And
Okay.
but we're not doctors. We're not, um, we don't want to try to lead you. You do your. Everybody needs to do their own research on what you're going to take or do.
Right.
Take your own health into your own hands. And I normally don't do this inside. You can see I'm kind of fighting with room because they're so big. But
Yeah, yeah.
I normally just do this outside. So
Okay.
I'm not really showing you very good, am I? I'm doing it down where I can see. So you can see I got one node that's going to go under the ground here, and then two nodes above the ground, and then that's the way that goes.
Okay. Now another question I have for you. Does it does it matter the thickness of the cutting you're taking? Does it matter? Is there a certain diameter that you look for when you go to take your cutting? And
Um,
does it depend on the plant, I guess?
so the
Or
thicker the cutting, the better. As far as I mean, generally, I mean, if it's really thick, um, might be it would probably grow, but it would take longer. That would
okay,
be the issue there. It would probably grow to be a really healthy plant, maybe kind of an awkward plant, being really thick. But yeah, that's going to be a decent cutting there, even though that's getting pretty skinny. And then this was at the base of the plant where I took. These are young plants that we got planted out there, and that's the how thick these ones are. These are going to be a better cutting.
okay.
Uh,
Uh, Sean just commented, made a comment. I think for me, he must know I don't have chickens. He said he's not a financial advisor, but buying vegetable seeds and chickens. That's what I guess
right? Yeah, man, Sean,
recommending.
he's growing like chick eggs like crazy off of his
I
chickens.
I know. I saw where he started getting into the chicken business.
Yeah, so he's doing good. He's
Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah.
My next door neighbor who just moved in just built a chicken coop, and I'm not sure because I'm not an expert when it comes to chickens. I've not had a lot of experience with it, but I'm not sure what type or yeah, I guess I'm not sure what type of chicken he has. I'll have to ask him
Right.
one
Yeah.
time when I see him out there. But yeah, I'd love to do that. It's convincing my wife that's a good thing to do with the price of eggs for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And then you
Ye
get good
yeah, yeah,
quality food
and,
rather than the store bought,
yeah,
hormones that they put in it and all kinds of
sure.
who knows
You know,
what.
and where we live, we have a lot of experience with deer ticks and things like that, and we have 2 dogs, so I understand that chickens are good for eating the ticks. Is that right?
Oh yeah. Yep. They eat all kinds of, wherever they're allowed to um, range at. If you can free range them, which is the most healthy thing for them.
Yeah, well, that's what
Uh,
my neighbor's doing. Actually, I think, Rob, I'll tell a little story on myself here. The other day, folks, I was outside. If you follow my channel, my wife's got me remodeling our master bathroom. Our home's over 30 years old, and so it's in need of some TLC. And so I was outside making cutting some trim for trimming out the room, and my neighbor's chickens saw me, and I think they must have recognized or thought I was their owner, and they started running. There was like 8 of them started running towards me, and I got a little scared actually. And I messaged Rob real quick and said, "Hey, should I be concerned? Am I going to get attacked, by these chickens?" And so he said, "Well, are there any roosters in the group?" And so anyway, we had a good laugh about it. He told me what to do if there was a rooster, that I needed to show the rooster that I'm the boss by getting him down on the ground and holding him for a minute. I said that would make a great video if you could do a video showing how to wrangle a rooster. That would be awesome.
Right. Yeah. We'll have to do that when we have one we can catch again.
So, all right. So give us an update. It looks like you're doing kind of a little variety of different sizes.
Yeah. Now. So I'm just doing whatever comes up the stem. I'm just putting it in as a cutting, because all this,
like it's based on the distance between nodes. Maybe, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just from what you've shown us there, and from what I've seen, with my little bit of experience, the nodes are further apart, down further in the branch, but they're
right,
closer.
and you can see they're a little bit closer together on that one there.
Yeah, I see that. Now, are you? I know that you're starting your nursery. Is this something, if folks out there would like to purchase your elderberry plants after they get rooted, or your azaleas? Is there a way for them to purchase them from you?
Yeah, just get a hold of me, and we can set up a time. Or I haven't really got into mailing plants yet, so I don't know that process, if that's something that you need to be certified to do or whatever. But yeah, if you're local around here and you're wanting to get elderberry for sure, just get a hold of me, and you can comment on this video or whatever. Or the best, if you actually want to message me, you can message me on my Facebook page, which you can find in the about section in my YouTube channel here.
Okay, Deb commented that guinea hens are good for dealing with ticks too.
Yep, guineas are like the best, they say.
Oh wow!
But there again, you have to let them free range out there so they can get to them.
Right. You can't keep them penned up all the time.
Right.
Now, just based on that little experience that I was telling you about, so I'm guessing, and I've kind of been watching. I'm trying to learn from watching my neighbor with his chickens. So it looks like if I'm guessing, and maybe you can correct me, Rob, if I'm wrong here, because I know you've raised them from the egg, right?
Yeah.
You and Deb have an incubator and grow them from basically the beginning of life. So
right. Yeah.
I'm guessing that they probably imprint, I guess, you imprint on them as like maybe a parent figure, I guess, because it seemed to me like when they saw me, it was like, my first thought was, they're going to get me. They're going to get, that was my first thought. And then because of I had like a coat that probably looked similar to what the neighbor has. And so I started to think, after I ran back in and closed my garage door where I was nice and safe and could still look out to see them, and then they started to head back over to their property, I started to think, okay, well, maybe they just thought I was their father figure.
Yeah, I thought maybe you had some food or something.
Yeah, maybe they thought I had some food that I would hand them out. So I don't know, but yeah. So is it? I guess we'll have to do a show on chickens.
Well, I don't know about that's not growing plants, is it?
No, yeah, you're right.
Oh, got to stay in our lane maybe a little bit. I don't know.
We better stay in our lane.
Yeah. So I'm on my last one, and then I'm going to move this out of the way and grab something that I've already worked on.
Okay.
Show you some updates there.
I'm going to give you an update here on the comments because I know you're busy showing us what you're doing there. Yep. So Red Maple just posted a comment. He said that he shipped over 100 Japanese maples a few months ago and made bank too.
Oh, so yeah, I remember that he put an ad on eBay, I believe it was. Isn't that what it was, Red? Sold them on eBay.
Okay. He hasn't responded yet.
Yeah.
I see Deb with Finally Home in Bama mentioned that or asked what plants are good for chickens. Oh, that's in our lane. So what plants are good for chickens, Rob? Being that you and Deb raise chickens.
Elderberry for one.
Elderberry. Okay.
I'm going to set this aside. I did all that bunch of elderberry, and I didn't quite get them all, so I'll probably go tomorrow or next day and stick a few more in there. I got plenty more out there.
Okay. All right. Nice. Okay. So Red said yes, eBay. He sold them on eBay. That's awesome.
So, and then Deb really should answer this question about which plants she knows all the different ones and remembers them offhand.
Yeah, she's
she's the herbalist and
herbalist
the master and
chicken master. Yeah. Okay.
So my next thing is, and Debbie, if you want to, you can throw in a few comments of what are good plants for the chickens, because I know it was a rhetorical question from you because
Yeah. Well, and that leads to a question that I just popped in my mind actually. So for somebody who may be interested in getting into raising chickens, but also loves their plants, do you have to worry about them destroying your plants? Pulling them up out of the ground? Have you had any casualties, plant casualties, as a result of your chickens?
Yeah, I mean, they'll eat them down to the ground if they like them. So
they will.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, but like elderberry, once they get established, they're not gonna be able to kill them. So as long as you can get them established in the ground before they get a chance, like even if it's just putting a little wire fence around them, just so they just pick the leaves off, then we're good.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna quickly, because I'm trying. We're already over an hour, and we got a couple more things to show.
Yeah.
So
I'm sorry.
I did a video. I did a video. I don't know, maybe 3 weeks ago or something of doing limelight hydrangeas, and I did basically the same exact thing, where I took cuttings. Now, limelight hydrangeas or hydrangeas in general, you take, instead of a node below and a node above, you can do single nodes. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm already starting to get some. Oh, this one had a node above as well. So it's actually growing from above. But here you can see this one. Can you see that one there?
Yeah.
It's starting to grow. So they put roots down from that same node and then shoots as well. So they root and shoot off of the same node. So single node, you can get cuttings. Now I ended up with, I think, 80. Oh, and there's one right there sprouting up. And this is just a couple weeks ago.
Wow.
You can go back and watch that video. I filled the rest of them in here, and you can see I just put them down in underneath this bench here because I didn't want them to get direct sunlight. But you can see I got some shoots starting to happen there, one there, and that. So they're already starting to take out. And I stepped on the tray there, you can see, but.
Well, and that's good that you showed us that, because I think one of the earlier questions that I asked was, do you have to have one of those fancy seed trays to?
Yeah, so that's not very fancy. That's from Chinese takeout right there.
So you were able to recycle it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, as far as recycling, did you have to do anything special to clean it out? Like, did you use bleach or anything to
I rubbed
clean?
some dirt in it.
Oh, just dirt. All right. Okay. So let's see. Oh, I had a comment here. Deb was finally home in Bama. She mentioned the question that you asked. What kind of plants do chickens like? She said oregano, mints, comfrey, and those are just a few, I guess.
Right. Yeah. There's so many. Lots of.
Okay. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that I've seen and talked to that raise chickens, one of the questions that comes up usually is, is it really worth the trouble to raise chickens? Do you really save any money because you got to buy their food
No, it's expensive. About
food is
300.
expensive,
All the
right?
money you have to spend for everything. It's about $300 a dozen that you pay.
Wow.
No, I'm playing, but man, it's a satisfaction thing. Honestly,
Okay.
you're growing good things, and you're feeding yourself and your family good quality
Okay.
food that's not filled with all kinds of chemicals and bleached out eggs, and which that egg shells are porous, and when they bleach those eggs to make them nice, pretty, and white, that bleach goes into that egg that you're eating, and you're just there's so many health benefits for doing it, and
Okay.
so honestly, I don't know. You'd have to have a fine-tuned machine of a process to make good money at. I think, and Red might have a better system than we got. We're spending more a lot on chickens and feed and bedding and all this stuff.
Okay.
And
All
Deb
right.
might throw a comment in there about that. I don't know, but
Okay.
seems expensive. But that's okay. It's fun, man. We love them chickens. It's a
Yeah.
blast. I mean, chickens are so much fun. If you don't have chickens, oh my gosh, you don't need TV if you have chickens. Just put them out where your picture window is, where you can watch them. You can create your own drama, sitcom or whatever, and narrate what they're doing out there. It's a blast. But anyhow, we're getting sidetracked here, and we're way over time. But so last year, this is limelight hydrangeas, just like I showed you from underneath the bench here. But
Oh,
these
wow.
here I did a while back, like last year, and I haven't even checked to see if they have roots or not. But I'm going to dump these out, and we'll look together.
Okay.
And this is a different thing, a way I did it. And this is in sand. I used sand in here, and I had to put paper towels to kind of hold the sand from going through these holes. But I'm
Yeah.
going to kind of dump this out, and let's see what we got here. Can you see okay? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That kind of looks like a mini laundry basket.
Yeah, well, it's a Dollar Tree find. They have a lot of times they'll have different shapes of these, but all you need to make sure is they have drainage. And I thought they would last 1 year, and you can see that did crack when I picked it up over there. But I could probably get another use out of that for
Yeah,
a
another
dollar.
growing
So
season. Yeah.
yeah,
And you
so
only paid what, $1.25 from the
no,
dollar?
that was a dollar before they changed their
Oh,
thing.
okay. Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
so let's see what we got here.
Yeah, I'm interested to see the
So I'm
big reveal here. Should we do a drum roll?
Yeah, go for it, man.
All right.
Okay, so first let me show you real quick. I mentioned about doing the single node cutting off of
Yeah.
that. So I'm going to clip one of these branches off that shot up. So this grew last summer. And so basically what I could do is I could go up to that very first node, cut underneath that, and go. Now that's awful tiny. So honestly, I would go 2 nodes on that one just because it's so tiny.
Mm-hmm.
But in what I was trying to say, you can just use that one single node and go to there, and then that would be your cutting. But since it's so skinny, I'm going to go up and do 2.
Okay.
So then that would be a cutting. So you can see why that tray that I showed you a minute ago had just little sticks sticking up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can get that's what that would be. Now I'm just going to set that aside and deal with it later. But so let's see what we got here. Can you see okay?
Yep. I can see.
Trying to tease the roots apart if there is any. Okay, so that one there didn't make it.
Okay.
So that's a no on that one. All right, we got okay. So you can see that one didn't make it either, but let me knock some of the sand off this one. But that one got pretty good roots.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good. That's going to be a good plant right there, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
got a
got
bunch
some.
of growth coming up there. Now, what I will probably do is I'll trim that off up there just a little bit, pot that up. Now, trimming that up will cause that to branch out more. So, trim off anything that looks dead, and then letting, in fact, even there, cut that off.
Now,
That'll
would
cause that
you?
to branch out and be good.
I was going to ask a question, Rob. So,
Yeah.
would you leave the? I think you referred to it as the handle. Would
Uh-huh.
you leave that, or would you cut that?
Yeah, so now or at any point you can cut that off down to there, and usually that will actually kind of start to die back down to that node. I don't know if you can see the discoloration down to here. See how it's brighter there and more
Yeah,
alive
yeah,
looking? So
yeah.
that's really dead. And the reason I like to leave that is because this part is going to die back to that node. And if you cut it too close to the node, that death is gonna go into that node.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that protects it from doing that. So I'll just clip that back. I don't have to do it now. I could do it later when I'm printing it up, getting it ready to sell or whatever. But yeah. So there you go. Now this is going to branch out, and
That's going to be a nice plant there.
nice little plant. So then I'm
Yeah,
going to put.
that's
I'm just
a
going
good
to put a
start.
couple of these in these little small plants,
Yeah,
little
go
small
ahead.
pots.
Yeah,
I don't know how well you can see down here, so but
yeah.
I'm just going to pot that up with that potting soil. That's just regular old potting soil. Um, Pack it in. Get your thumbs brown. Make sure you get your thumbs brown.
That was something I was going to address with you. Most people, when they hear of thumbs related to plants, they hear the term green thumb. So why did you come up with the brown thumb as the name of your nursery?
Well, you just saw it because I was always out here potting up plants and my thumbs were always brown. I'm like, oh no, I don't have a green thumb. I have brown thumbs. I thought, well, that'd be kind of a cool name for my nurseries.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
gonna tease these apart here a little bit. There's another one that didn't make it. Oh, well, looks like it started to.
Yeah.
See how it started to, but it
You might
didn't. So
you might want to pot that one up, maybe.
nah, no, I can tell it's not gonna make it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to see.
Right. Yeah. And you can
From
see. I
here.
don't know if you can tell how much this one here. This root's going way over here.
Oh wow.
So trying to not kill the roots too much because they're just babies. But look at how good that did.
Wow.
There.
That
So
is
I'm gonna go ahead and clip now that looks like a dead branch right there. So I'm gonna clip
okay.
that way back. That is still pliable, so I clip it down, clip that down, and then that'll branch out really good from the base.
Okay. Now another question I have for you. So what's the best time to separate and pot these plants up?
Oh man, whenever you have time. Oh man. So when they're dormant's good. I mean, these are
Okay.
just about to come out of dormancy. You can see a little bit of leaves starting to happen and stuff. So when they're
Okay.
dormant is a good time, or whenever you have time.
Okay.
They take they less damage to them when you do them when they're dormant. So
Gotcha.
that's
Okay.
why. And then once they do come out of dormancy, they'll have new ground to put out roots to and all of that. So
Okay. That makes sense. That
yeah.
makes
So we're having pretty decent success rate. I mean, look at that one. That's got a pretty good. And you can see it's starting. I was saying it's starting to come out of dormancy. There's a little bit of a bud there coming out. I'm
Yep.
going to go ahead and cut that one off right above that, so that it
Okay.
can shoot out a nice wide, you know, thing. I'm just going to lay these aside because I know we're kind of over time that we should be.
Okay.
Look at
Well,
those. Look at
that's
those right
part of our
there.
test is to see how long we can go.
Right, yeah. We're at 74 minutes.
Are we really?
Yeah.
I haven't even looked. Okay.
Yeah. So
Yep, we are. Okay.
I'm gonna cut some of that down, and that's a lot of good roots there.
Yeah, that's a nice plant.
And you can go back and watch the video where I stuck these cuttings. It was last year sometime.
Okay.
Go back and check out. I'm going to quit messing with them now so that we can just finish this up. But
Yeah,
I just wanted to show you that
sure.
single node cuttings compared to the several nodes on the elderberry and the azaleas, and so you can kind of see a couple different things.
Right, and I see the advantage of that with that type of plant being able to root so easily. You can get more cuttings from that, right? Because you're using one node versus.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can get 2 or 3 times more cuttings out of a high dollar plant. Like for instance, these are limelight hydrangeas. Those just came out of the um, patent that they're because they plant patents have a 20-year cycle, and so those just came off a patent, and so now they're legal to propagate. So I got one as soon as I could, and then of course there's a whole story about where I got this one that I was able to take cuttings from. So
yeah,
so
do
yeah.
you want to share that with us?
Well, yeah. So a neighbor of my uh, wife's mom and dad needed it trimmed way back to the ground, and because it was just getting overgrown, and so I did, and we knew that it was a limelight hydrangea, so obviously I took all the cuttings and uh, propagated them.
And the rest is history.
And the rest was like a 2-hour long video of me doing cuttings, I think. Oh man, no, I don't know how long it was, but it was longer than I should have done. I'm trying to do better about these long videos, and here we are at 70 something minutes.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, Rob, that what we were just talking about. I think that would be a nice topic for us to discuss. Would be pruning of shrubs and plants, right?
Yeah,
So
we can do a whole nother.
Yeah, so we covered propagation tonight, and you did a fantastic job showing us a couple of different shrubs that you have propagated, and you've shown us various stages in the process and the growth of that. So I think as we get forward into spring, I'm sure there's going to be opportunities maybe where we can talk about what do you do, and is there a benefit to the plant to get trimmed back or not?
Right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Let's do that. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll write that down. I'm taking notes here.
Okay.
People who are commenting and asking questions, so that we'll be able to reflect on that when we have our post talk session.
Very cool.
How this went. So we'll do maybe a show on pruning. Maybe we can even break that over a couple sessions. Do one on pruning fruit trees and
shrubs and different
fruit shrubs, and then do one on shrubs that flower, because I know that some plants you want to prune in the fall so that you don't lose the blossoms, and if you prune them in the spring you might be cutting your blossoms off, and that defeats the purpose. So yeah, we can get into that in a different live stream. Okay. Good. Well, I think that's going to bring us to a close. Do you have anything you want to say to our audience that's still with us before we start?
Thanks for hanging out with us for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's been very educational, I think.
Well, good. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I always enjoy getting my thumbs brown. I got my fingers brown and everything tonight. So it's a win-win right there. So, but yeah, no, thanks for hanging out with us. I mean, I enjoy this. We'll try to do our best. When me and Matt get talking, it's hard to shut us up. So start talking about. Sure. Oh, red maple Raider Gromies. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thanks, Red.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. We'll talk to you later, buddy.
Yeah. We'll be watching you.
Yep. Right. I watch all his. So everybody out there, make sure you go find Red Maple Grove. You can click on his comment and it'll take, his thing and take you to his channel.
That's right. Yeah. And he specializes in, he does a lot of everything.
He does a lot, but yeah, Red Maples is his
Yeah, it's his thing.
You would never think that by the name of his channel, but yeah.
No, no, no. It really doesn't describe this channel at all. Right.
So anyhow, but yeah, we better get off of here. So
yeah.
we don't
all
keep
right.
people.
Well, it's been great having all of you, and Rob. We'll be talking and preparing for our next live stream, and you'll be hosting that one. So be on the lookout. Look for a notification from Brown Thumb Nursery for our next episode. Okay.
Right. Absolutely. All right. Get
all right. It's been fun.
All right. God bless.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, Rob, you're gonna have to tell me how to end it.
Oh, I don't know. There should be tap it, hit an X. There's an X up in the top left.
Oh, yep, I see it. Okay, all right, folks. I'm still learning. Bye-bye.
Bye.